I went to Beverly Hills, California and got a 360 lipo and BBL, aka fat transfer, from Dr. Johnson Lee. It was amazing. If you'd like to hear the story, here it goes. Okay, so initially I went in for my first consultation with Dr. Lee in April of 2021. And I found him just by searching the internet, searching Instagram, searching Facebook, and I was using hashtags to find someone local in my area that worked on men. Because a lot of the liposuction procedures and BBL procedures I was seeing, it was the before and afters were all of women, and I wanted to find somebody that worked on men. Not only worked on men, got really good results within. So upon doing my research, I found Dr. Lee. And the video that I watched on YouTube is what convinced me to go ahead and book a consultation with him. Before going to Dr. Lee, I had interviewed maybe 3 other plastic surgeons, and they were all not in California. Dr. Lee is right here in California. He's right up the street from me, thank God, because I was considering flying, out the country, going to Dominican Republic. I was considering going to Florida, and I also considered flying to New York. I'll say this before I even get into the video. After going through what I went through with this procedure, no complications by the way, but just the pain, I couldn't imagine getting on a flight to come home after a procedure like that. Couldn't do it. Anyway, so I found Dr. Lee. I went in, and of course I was greeted by his assistant. Her name is Monica. She is a lovely woman, very beautiful, very nice, very personable. I liked her. And I went in. First I called and kind of, was getting a feel for like the kind of work that he did, because I saw the work that he did online, but I just wanted to talk to her more about it. So upon talking to her, I was convinced. I was like, okay, I'm gonna book the consultation. I booked it, I went, I met Dr. Lee. He is a awesome guy. He's a very a personable person, which I really like. I really connected with him, and he was really straightforward, which I liked. I told him what I wanted, and he was like, yeah, I can definitely do that for you. So what I wanted, okay, let's talk about that. I think a lot of people last year in 2020 gained weight during COVID. The gyms were closed, and it was really, it was stuff for us to do, but for people like me that worked out, I couldn't work out. And I gained weight. I gained a lot of weight, okay? I was like, from the time the shutdowns happened up until around April of 2021, that was the most weight I had ever gained. And I was like, no, I gotta do something about this, and I need it to be done quickly. I've had the body before, the muscles before, but now I have fat over the muscles. And now my shape went from being an S shape to a refrigerator box shape. And I was like, no ma'am, Pam, we can't do that. So I went and I talked to Dr. Lee. I told him what I was looking for. I told him how I wanted my shape to be, how I wanted my flanks liposuction, my stomach liposuction, my waist liposuction, my back liposuction, and my chest. Because I feel like I had gained so much weight, and some of it went into my chest area too. And he was like, yeah, I can do that. And he was like, I told him I want to do a fat transfer to my butt. No hips. He was like, yes, I can definitely keep you masculine, and we're gonna keep your butt like square, but make the back of it round. I was like, well, I only want fat at the top of my butt. I don't really want it on like the mid and the bottom part of it, just the top, to kind of give me that even roundness already. Because from lifting weights in the past, I already had like a muscle, but I just needed some more definition at the very top of it. He was like, yeah, I can do that too. So I went ahead, I paid the deposit. How much did the surgery actually cost? Well, you gotta keep watching, I'll get to that, right? So time went by, April, May went by. I was calling Monica, asking her all kind of questions, because I was like getting nervous. Because originally I had scheduled to get my surgery June like the first week of June, but during that time I had just got my new puppy, everybody. So I was like, that's not gonna work. What ended up happening is I called Monica and was like, hey, can I push my surgery date back? Because I told her, I'm getting a puppy. She was like, oh yeah, no problem. We can do it on July the 8th. I said, okay, cool, I'll take it. So during this time, I'm just getting ready because Dr. Lee said one of the things with the fat transfer, he said you don't really have a lot of fat to transfer. If you can gain some more weight, that'll be good. He says you don't necessarily have to, but if you can, go ahead and do it. Because he said what happens is after you get the fat transfer and say you gain weight later on down the line, wherever I transfer the fat to, that area will gain. So if you get bigger, your ass is gonna get bigger too. I said, okay. So I tried to gain weight. That didn't happen all of a sudden after I've gained all this weight. Right now, when I need to gain weight or want to, I can't gain weight. That's fine. So fast forward to the surgery day, right? So the surgery day comes and I wake up in the morning and I'm just like super nervous. Oh, some of the things I had to get before the surgery. So before the surgery, I already had puppy pads because they told me you're gonna need puppy pads because when you come home, they don't put any of the tubes in you, the drainage tubes. They just leave the liposuction wounds open so you can drain out. So you need those to lay on. I ordered a BBL pillow, and that was to sit on because how that works is the BBL pillow goes under your thighs and it allows your butt to like hang off the back without applying pressure to it. I got like a waterproof pad to go on top of my bed, and then I put the doggy pads on top of that. So that way no blood or any type of liquids went onto my mattress. On top of that, I bought a lot of like electrolyte waters, coconut waters, a lot of watermelon, a lot of pineapple. This is just so I could have after the surgery. And sorry if you hear the dogs in the back, they're playing right now. And let me see, what else did I get that I needed? Oh, compression socks. You gotta get some compression socks. And the faja. So I have on my faja now. So this is my final stage faja, I guess. And you see there are two different colors on the straps because I bought extra straps to go on because the faja by itself, the straps are too like short to go over my shoulders. So you can also get some straps to go with your faja as well. Okay, now that we got that out the way, the day of my surgery comes and I'm like super nervous. The night before, I had my housekeeper come, make the house spotless. The bed was made up. I laid everything out that I would need. I put a table at the end of my bed because I knew I couldn't lay on my back. I'd have been laying on my stomach for weeks. So I put it at the end of the bed so I could just reach for, whatever I needed. And anyway, the lift comes and picks me up and drops me off at the surgery center. I think it's 6:30 in the morning. So it drops me off and I go into the surgery center and I'm there for about an hour and a half before they take me back. Now, during this hour and a half is when I meet with the anesthesiologist. She is a very, very lovely, nice, personable woman. I really liked her. And me and her, we talked in the room just maybe 40 minutes before they actually, took me back for the surgery. And she's into the crystals and the meditation just like me. She studies hypnotherapy, all these things, right? And she's like, what, I like you. It was like meant for us to meet because you were scheduled with another anesthesiologist, but they canceled, so that's how you got me, and this is gonna be amazing. She said, instead of giving you propofol, I'm gonna give you ketamine because it does something to the brain. I have to research more on it, but she says I use it in my practice. She says a lot of anesthesiologists, they don't really research the type of anesthesia that they give to the clients. They just give, the standard treatment to the clients. But me, I like to use ketamine on my clients because it's better for the brain. It doesn't cause long-term effects. Propofol can be like, what did she say, dementia and some other things that she mentioned. So I'm like, cool, I'm about to get a ketamine drip, get my sensory nerves going in my brain or whatever she said, and boom. All that was all good and dandy, and we're in there talking, and she's like, okay, they're ready for you, let's bring you to the back. So they take me to the back, and I walk into the operating room. I'm looking around, it's a big room. They got the table with the arm things out like this, and I sit up on the table, and I'm still cool at this point, and then I look to my left, and I see this tube right there, and I'm like, well, what is this tube right here? Oh, they was like, oh, that's the tube that's gonna go down your throat. We have to put that down your throat when we flip you over. The airway, you know, doesn't close your airway. I got dizzy. I got dizzy and I thought I was gonna faint. I started tweaking. I did. I got too nervous. So I looked to the left and I saw that tube and I immediately started tweaking. I was like, oh no. No. You gonna put this tube down my throat? I don't know why. Something happened in my mind and I was just like, oh, hell no. So something happened where they couldn't actually start the procedure right then and there. Thank God. I was like, oh, that's a sign. Phew, it'll give me a chance to get myself together. So they took me back into the patient waiting room, and she comes back in there. No, she comes in there and she, gives me one of her books that she's reading. It's a hypnotherapy book. And I couldn't concentrate on reading that book. I could not get that tube out of my mind, right? So maybe a few minutes goes by. So they bring me back into the surgery room now, and I'm like, oh shit, here we go. But this time, that tube is not on the table. I guess she was like, oh, he is not going to tweak out on me today. So I lay back, I put my arms out, and I'm like, oh God, here we go. So I feel them like strapping my arms down, and she puts the gas mask, because what happened is they tried to put the needle to do the anesthesia with, but for whatever reason, they could not hit the vein. They was like, well, no problem. We can do it while you're asleep. So anyway, I lay back on the table, I put my arms to the sides, they start strapping them down, and I see her bringing that gas mask, and she was like, I want you to take 2 deep breaths. So she puts it over my face, and I was like, I can't breathe. I started tweaking. I was like, And so she was like, Jerron, listen. Me and Dr. Lee, we have 0 deaths under our license. Nobody has ever died under our care, and you will not be our first patient. She was like, I know what I'm doing, okay? She said, I just need you to take 2 deep breaths. I turned my head to the side like, oh no, I can't do it. So she was like, trust me. So she starts to bring that mask towards my face, and this time I could feel like the air blowing out of the mask. I guess she turned it up because she wanted me to go. She's like, oh no, you going to sleep. Now, she didn't say that, but I'm pretty sure that's why she turned up, because the first time it wasn't that high. So she put it over my face, and she was like, take 2 deep breaths. I took the first breath, and my eyes were big. I remember looking at her. She was just looking at me, and I went to take the second breath. Gone. I was out. Next thing you know, I'm waking up in the recovery room, and according to Dr. Lee, the first words that came out of my mouth when I woke up is, oh my God, I'm in so much pain, which I don't remember saying that, but I believe him because, oh my God, I was in so much pain. I could not believe it. So I'm in the recovery room for about 45 minutes to an hour. My homegirl, she came and picked me up. That was an ordeal getting home, because I told her to drive my van so I could lay down in the van, but she didn't feel comfortable because it's so big. So we took her truck, and I was pretty much on my knees in her back seat because I'm too tall to like lay across the seats. It was so uncomfortable, but thank God. That's why I'm saying I couldn't imagine somebody, or like getting on a plane after that surgery. It happened. I couldn't imagine, because from my house to Dr. Lee's office, it was like maybe 22 minutes there and back. So it was cool. So I get home, And I remember getting in the bed and starting to lay down. Thank God I had everything all set. And I remember laying on my stomach because you can't lay on your butt because, you know, the fat has to have time to acclimate to its new location, it's reestablish the blood supply, etc. So I lay on my stomach and I remember thinking like, oh my God, this hurts so bad. And I'm gonna have to do this for weeks. I'm telling my homegirl, I'm like, oh no, I'm not about to take those Percocets because I don't even want that shit in my system, la la la, la la la. 45 minutes went by, I was popping those Percocets. I was like, oh my God, the pain had kicked up. She was with me for like 5 hours after I came home, and then she left. But she was gonna be here with me that entire week. She would come for like 5 to 6 hours just to sit with me, walk the dogs, you know, help me. But she would come in like the afternoon. Other than that, I was solo dolo going through this. Crazy. The next morning when I woke up, oh my God, I was in so much pain. I could not believe it was worse than the day before. Oh my God, I was in, and not only that, throughout the night, I was getting up, changing the puppy pads because I was like bleeding out, like all the fluid was coming out. Like I had this wrap, and they don't put you in a faja right away. I didn't get a faja until I think a week later is when I got my faja. I just had like this compression band around, was it around my stomach? I think it was just like around my stomach area. Oh my God, I was in so much pain and I was just like bleeding out, changing those pads. So I woke up the next morning. Now mind you, my homegirl doesn't come until the afternoon. I had to walk peekaboo. I didn't have nobody else to help me. The people that said they were gonna come and help me, you think they came to help me? No, and I ain't forgot. I got up, you know, put Peekaboo's leash on, and I started to walk him. So as I'm walking down the hallway, I am just like super dizzy. Like, oh my God, it's like everything is unbalanced. We get down to like downstairs, and I'm walking him through like the little parking lot that's next door to the building, and I'm like, oh, I'm about to faint. I gotta go back in. So I didn't faint, thank God I made it back in. He went to the bathroom real quick. I lay back down, and I pass out. So my homegirl comes, I gave her a key just in case I was asleep. She comes in and you know, she makes me my food and she was just helping me. I'm so glad that she was here when she was, because she like was helping me like wash up and change the puppy pads, because it was a lot. That pain went on for maybe like that for 10 days. So, like I said, 4 or 5 days go by. I go to Dr. Lee to get my file. Oh, I went to see Dr. Lee the very next day too. So the day after my surgery, I went back to his office. He wanted to check everything. And I remember when he took like the wrap and the gauze and stuff off of me, I looked in the mirror, I was so swollen. I looked bigger than what I started. I was like, oh my God, I was swole, bruised. I was bruised up bad, like I got ran over by a truck or something. Like my chest was bruised, my sides were bruised, my back was bruised, in between my legs was bruised, down my thighs, my butt, I was just bruised up. So he checks me out. He's like, everything looks good. Come back in 3 to 4 days. I'm gonna have your faja for you. And when I went back to get the faja, it was a 2X, I think, because it's like just your first post-surgical faja. So it's gonna be big to help you with the swelling. So anyway, I went back, got the faja. At that point, that's when I started wearing my foams. Oh no, was I wearing my foams before? I think I was wearing the foams when I came out of surgery with that gauze. It was just pretty much like a Velcro band that I put around my stomach, and I'll put the foams on my stomach, my sides, and my back. Yeah, those were bloody, 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 bloody. So anyway, I go back to him a few days later. I get my faja, and he's like, okay, tomorrow you're gonna start your post-op massage. Now this is where Massage by Barbie comes in. I think that's the name. I'll make sure I tag her, but Massages by Barbie. Because before I got the surgery, I was calling around to different places to see, if I could go to them or if they could come to me for my post-op massage, because they're very important to help you get that swelling out of your body, make sure your body doesn't get hard from like fibrosis, identify any like seromas, which are pretty much a collection of blood underneath the skin. I didn't want none of that to happen. So Monica, she was like, oh, no, we have somebody come to your house to do it. You don't have to leave. I said, oh, thank God. This is why I wanted to go to Dr. Lee. I did not have to leave the house. So Barbie comes over the next day and she starts to do my massage. And I was so swollen and she's barely touching me. I mean, just like very light touch. And as she's going over my lower back, just very softly, you could hear the water from the swelling just moving underneath my skin. It sounded crunchy. It was crazy. I've never heard or felt anything like that. And speaking of felt, that shit was so painful. Oh my God. Just from that light touch she was doing. But I will say, after every massage with her, my swelling became less and less and less. And what she's doing when she's doing the lymphatic massage, she's moving the fluid and shaping your body too. So that's when my shape really started to come in. So from that first faja that I got from Dr. Lee's office, maybe a week later is when I got the second one from that picture, which I'll insert here. I got this faja, and you see how that looked? Now that faja, that was an extra large, and in that picture I just showed, I was so swollen, it was on the very first row of hooks, and I had a hard time getting that on, but Barbie had shaped me so much, and she came every other day. Did she come every day for the first few days? No, she came every other day, and I still get my massages every other day up until this point. And so far I've gotten a total, well, altogether I'm gonna get a total of 30 massages, because the massages are very, very important for you to get your shape. And to get rid of that swelling. So you gotta make sure you have money for your massages. And me personally, just from going through the experience, I would recommend getting 30 massages at least, minimum. Because getting like 7 massages, 10 massages, that ain't gonna cut it, boo. That is not going to cut it. Got the massages. So as I was getting the massages, so I got that XL faja. And then as she massaged me, and she got the faja for me, which I was so thankful for. So I was in that XL faja for 4 days before I needed another one. So I start off on the first row, barely being able to hook it up, to moving to that last row of hooks very quickly from the massages and her moving that swelling out. So I went, got a medium faja. I was in the medium faja for about a week. These fajas are about $150 a piece. You can get them cheaper than that. It just depends on where you shop around. I was in the kind of pain where, listen, I didn't want to shop around. Just give me the faja and let me do it moving, seriously. So I was in the medium faja. So as I continued with the massages, I got smaller and smaller. And I was in that medium faja for about like another week and a half, 2 weeks, almost 2 weeks. Now I'm in a small faja, which is this one. I was on the first row of hooks for maybe 2 days. After the 2 days, I skipped the second row and went straight to the last row of hooks. I mean, the massages, they really help. And that's what I'm saying. If you get the massage, whether you're a man or a woman, make sure you invest and make sure you have money to get your massages, because they're really going to help. Sleeping with the fajas on. and the boards. Sleeping with the boards and the fajas on. My back was hurting so bad. And mind you, I still now I can sleep on my sides, which I could have been sleeping on my sides before because he didn't put any hips on me. I just got the top of my butt done. So now I'm sleeping on my side, but before when I was sleeping on my stomach with those fajas and the faja and the board, it was just a lot. It's just this surgery, going through the process is a lot. What's today, the 13th? So I'm like, what, 35 days into my surgery. I'm able to sit down. As you can see, I am sitting on a BBL pillow just so my butt hangs off so it doesn't, you know. But I will say the first time I sat down on the BBL pillow to drive, having the fat in that area, I'm not gonna lie. The first time I sat down, it felt like my ass was going to explode. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna eject out of this seat because it was so much pressure from that fat being in the new location. It was super tight. My body is soft now because the first month, my body was, I was so shocked at how hard my body was. And that's why it's really important to get those massages because it really softens up your body. Like my butt is not hard, it's really, really soft now. My body is just soft. There's still just a little bit of hardness around my belly button, which Barbie is still working in, where now she does it with like the knuckles and the wood therapy tools. Oh, and that's something else, getting your body sculpted. See, a lot of people, from what I learned from talking to people before the surgery, what people don't do after getting their BBLs and their lipo is they don't continue on with the massages or the body sculpt in the cavitation, the radio frequency, the wood therapy. All that stuff is very important after getting, not just immediately after. I'm talking about pretty much, but I guess the rest of your life, I would say, to keeping your shape with the BBL. So if you've gotten one, make sure you continue to get your cavitation done. Make sure you continue to get your wood therapy. Make sure you continue to get your radio frequency, because one of my colleagues I talked to, they work on a lot of the Instagram girls. I just leave it at that. And they said that's one thing that they come in to do regularly for years after they've gotten their surgery done, and that's how they're able to maintain their shape. Some of them don't even work out. They just come to get regular body sculpting treatments. So some people asked me some questions, and I'm going to just go through a few of the questions. I think I've answered most of them. So they said, for a 360 lipo, do you have to be on bed rest afterwards? If so, how long? Oh, you definitely gotta be on bed rest. This is not like a procedure where you get up and you are off to the races the next day. No. I think I bled for 3 days after the procedure, and then it just kind of stopped. I was on bed rest for a consistent, I would say, at least 3 weeks before I could really like move around and be okay. I was still very much so in pain, but it was like at least a good 3 weeks. The scars. So I do have scarring, which I'll insert a video here. So today is like the 31st or 32nd day since my surgery. You can still see where they put like the lipo, the cannula in here. They did it here, underneath my nipple. It's like that on both sides. Oh, and then this one like where they did the fat injection. You see a little spot right there? That's where they put the fat injection at, but I'm happy with my results, and I don't have to hold my stomach in anymore, so. But the scarring, it goes away. It just takes time. It's from where they put the cannula in to do the liposuction. Then I also have scars on the top of my butt, just 2 little marks of where they actually put the needle in to do the fat injection. When can you go back to the gym? So the doctor cleared me to go back to the gym, as you can see here. This is about 5 weeks after my surgery. Okay, how long was your surgery? So my surgery was about 4.5 hours altogether. Somebody asked, did the surgery work? Does it look like it worked? Okay. I go back to Dr. Lee in September. I had my surgery July the 8th, and he told me I can't like fully sit down on my butt until probably the end of September, possibly in October. He also said I can't do any lower body exercises either because he doesn't want from me lifting the weights for the fat to get compressed or stretched and possibly messing up the new blood supply that's being reestablished with the fat transfer. Somebody asked, what was the worst part of the process? And that post-op massager thing, what was that like? I have my consult this week, excited and nervous. Okay, so the worst part of the process was, I would say, the first 8 to 10 days. That was terrible. Yeah, that hands down, terrible. The pain was out of this world. Another part that was terrible too was probably those first 5 massages. Those were terrible. Those were like super painful, but super necessary. The massager thing she's talking about is this thing right here. Oh God. So that's the wood therapy tool. She used that on me only in the beginning for like 5 to 6 minutes just to help break up some of that fibrous tissue that was underneath my skin. It really helps to break it down to help your body get back to being soft. And good luck on your consultation, and yeah, go for it. Somebody asked, would you do the surgery again? And if so, would you do it differently? What did you learn from this whole process? What advice can you offer to someone that is helpful? Okay, would you do the surgery again? I know. I hope I don't have to. I mean, if I gain weight again, I would do it again. I would. I'm not even gonna lie. Because the results, I got the results that I wanted. Like, he shaped my body crazy. And when I posted like my first like 11 days post-op video, people were like, oh, you could went to the gym and got that. But see, as you get older, and a lot of people in my age group, which is the 40 age group, you know, as you get older and say, you know, you get kind of out of shape, you start getting fat in places that you've never had it before. So it really takes your body out of the shape that you were when you were in your 20s. So going to work out, that really wasn't going to give me the shape that I knew that was possible, because Dr. Lee, he really went in and shaped my body. Like, he did my chest perfect. Out of everything that I got, my chest I love the most. He just made it flat. He just made it, it's perfect. My waist is perfect. It's like skinny. What did you learn from this whole process? I learned that you can talk to whoever you want to about the surgery, about the pain. You can watch whatever video you want to about the pain, but nothing will prepare you for the pain that you will actually go through. But if you can just hold on, but you're gonna have to, but if you just hold on, you're going to love your results if you went to a good doctor. And Dr. Lee, he's one of the best. What advice can you offer to someone that is helpful? If you can have somebody to help you, I paid my homegirl to come out and help me. Because, you know, people, they be flaky. And yeah, because I was like, I asked a couple of people, you know, I told them, could they ask them to come and help me like after, like really just walk peekaboo. That was my main concern. And these people that said they could, when I called to ask, hey, could you walk peekaboo? You think they picked that phone up? You think they came? No. So if you can pay somebody to be with you, if you need to, just go ahead and do that, because it makes things a lot easier than relying on people. Oh, here is one big thing: sodium. Sodium. After your surgery, try to do very little to no sodium, because that sodium will make you blow up so quick and swell up, because your body, all that tissue under there is damaged already. So the sodium makes you retain water. So now I am like watching everything I eat. I do very little to no sodium, period, because I don't want to deal with that swelling. And you can feel Like when it's hot, I can feel my body expanding, especially if I don't have on my faja. That's another thing. I gotta wear my faja for at least 6 months every day. It's annoying because right now in the summertime, it's hot. It is hot. And now, the question of the hour. How much did my surgery cost? So I priced a few different places. I think if I was gonna go to the Dominican Republic, I think the lady told me for the surgery that I had for the 360 BBL, no, 360 lipo and BBL, it was gonna be $7,500. I called another place in Florida, and I forgot what they said. Then I called another popular place in New York, and they told me just for the liposuction it was $7,700. I didn't even get into the BBL part. I'm like, ooh, that's high just for the lipo. So after weighing all of that, and with the plane tickets, I considered that, and the hotel I would have had to stay in, the food, I'm like, I might as well just stay right here in LA, right by my house. So if anything happens, it can happen right here in my bed where I can be comfortable. I'm close to Cedars-Sinai, I'm close to USC, and I'm close to UCLA if need be. UCLA is kind of far. So with all that considered, when I got my quote just for the surgery, it was $12,500. That was for my surgery costs. The massages, for the 30 massages all together, it ran about $2,500 on top of the surgery. So what are we at now? So we're at $15,000. And then for the fajas, I bought 3 fajas, so that's an extra $450. And then the food, paying my homegirl. All in all, I probably spent maybe $16,000 for the surgery, but the results speak for themselves. And the most important part that I want you to remember is I had zero. When I say zero, I had 0 complications. I didn't have none. I didn't have no infections, no seromas. I didn't have nothing. It was, even though it was painful, it was a smooth process. So I don't go back to see Dr. Lee again. So I saw him immediately after surgery. I saw him like 4 days later. And then I recently saw him again, I think maybe 2 weeks ago. I don't have to go back now until I think my appointment is at the end of September. And everything is going good. Like, it is going good. So I want to show you, let me see, because this faja, the front part of it is out. So you can go pee. Oh, that's something else too, going to the bathroom in the faja. But when you're stage 1, it's so annoying. It is so annoying, but you can do it. Here, maybe if I put this right here, I can stand up. Let me just tuck this right here. I can stand up. Oh no, that's giving stripper vibes. Hold on real quick. Okay, so this is the result so far. You see that back like that? I got a towel right here just to cover up my front, because with the fajas, like all the under part is open so you can go to the bathroom. Now I can just take it off if I gotta go to the bathroom. So let me just turn around. See that? And then this is the front right here. So you see I'm on the last row of the hooks on this faja. But yeah, and then see how my chest is like. I just love how he did my chest. And then you see the arch in the back and here. And so he just pretty much put the fat like right in this area right here. They didn't really do anything like here underneath here. So I'm happy about that. And that's another thing. When I was showing him my inspo pictures, because you got to take some inspiration pictures in there just to show the doctor what you want. He was like, because I've worked out before, and let me just show you what my before looked like when I was working out. Versus when I gain weight and then after. So I'm very happy with my results. Make sure you follow Dr. Lee. I'll put his information in the description up above. And yeah, that's my surgery review video. I would definitely recommend this surgery to anybody who is thinking about doing it and they have the funds to do it correctly and the funds to do the aftercare correctly, because this is not a cheap sport. Oh no, it's definitely not a cheap sport. I didn't plan on spending as much afterwards as I did, but I figured that I may have to, but I didn't think I would have to spend that much after the fact. But if you're going to do it, make sure you do it right. Make sure you research your doctor, and if you can do it locally where you can just go straight home after, no plane ride, no long car ride, I would highly recommend doing that. So I hope this video was helpful, and I hope it helps you make the decision on either getting your surgery or not getting your surgery. Just remember, if you get the surgery, make sure you do it right. Find a board-certified plastic surgeon that has experience with this type of surgery, and make sure you have the money to do your proper aftercare and your aftercare treatments. So in the between time, head over to my website, LosAngelesOilsandButters.com. Pick up your freshly made black soaps, coffee scrubs, black seed oil, body creams, body butters, you name it, I got it. Thanks again, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye, everybody.